Hi, my name's Tony. It's been laid on my heart to write a story about the things that have happened in my life. I'm going to read it so I don't leave anything out. Please forgive me if I stumble a little bit with my tongue. This is a testimony of the glory of God and is but an excerpt of an ongoing story, as I'm only 60 and I hope He's not done with me yet. It is He that has directed my life. It is He that has shown me truly that there is really nothing He can't do. It is He that amazes me every single day with His love, workings, and presence. He deserves the entire credit for this story. When I just simply follow, listen, and obey, He does it all and leads my life into marvelous adventures. So this is His story, not mine. It is by His grace that I have learned that when you follow Him without hesitation, put your life in His hands, your heart surrendered, then by His strength He will sustain you. Nothing will be able to stop you. You can be assured that this story is all true, every word. My hope is that it will motivate those of you exposed to it to have a greater faith in the one who is able. Realize that God is alive and well, and that He is still the great I Am. My parents always made sure that I was in church every Sunday. I remember hanging out at the church a lot after school, anytime really. Poor Pastor Sweat probably thought I was his kid. I followed him around like a shadow every chance I got and talked the guy's ear off. Because of his patience with me and the hunger I had, Jesus was very real to me. The matter-of-fact, childlike kind of faith. No reservations, no doubt. I used to sit on the concrete wall behind my house for hours talking to him. I told my mom I was just thinking. As I grew, he moved on, Pastor Sweat, and that mentoring went away. But that knowledge that Jesus was always around me did not, at least for a few years. I was pretty much always a loner as a kid. I was smaller than my peers, and that made me a target in school, and I shied away from people. That carried with me until I turned 16 and got a car. That's when I met some friends outside of the school circle, and for the first time began to feel accepted. They all smoked pot, and I fell right into that because I craved the friendships and wanted to be accepted into their circle of friends. That's when I turned away from Jesus. How could someone I couldn't touch compete with real friends? I quickly moved to the point of smoking it every day and never thought about it. I had friends and parties and no one to teach me about how bad that was. Who listens to their parents? This highlights the danger of choosing the wrong friends, having accountability to no one but myself, lacking a real role model or mentor, and ignoring what I knew was right to satisfy an inner desire to have friends. I became lost in the world and turned my back on Jesus and everything I knew was right to satisfy the flesh and selfish desires. The world sucked me in. When I turned 18, I joined the Air Force. Continuing on with the lifestyle I was living, everything spiraled downward for the next couple of years. The dark side began to take hold, and I started to delve into the black arts. I thought I was some kind of magician with the parlor tricks. It wasn't long until one of the tricks backfired, and I realized it wasn't me doing the tricks. Lost in selfishness, I really didn't know which direction to take. Soon after that, I had a vision, a daydream, a real dream, I'm not sure. In that vision, my eyes were open to the spiritual realm. I don't know for how long, but time in that place is meaningless. The carnage of misery was everywhere. As I focused on the happenings around me, absolutely terrified to the point of holding my breath, I saw hordes of demons wreaking verbal and physical havoc, whispering horrible things, and bringing calamity on what appear to be helpless souls. The agony and torment expressed by those souls was horrible to see, and there were few exempt. I knew then that demons had been pulling my strings. Then one of them noticed that I could see him. It wafted over to me like a smoky solid cloud and breathed on me. I can still remember the stench of its vile smell. As quickly as it came on, it was over. I now intimately know just how real the life and death spiritual battle is, how terrible, how close, how relentless. Absolutely terrifying does not describe it. It was much more devastating than that. So I made the only logical, wretched, selfish decision possible. I swore off spiritual things, all of it. I told God to back off and leave me alone, and I turned my back to all of it. Little did I know of the stakes. That experience was so traumatically impressed into my memory that 20 years later I wrote this to try to make a feeble attempt to put into words what I saw. To spin a twisted tale. Normalcy. In the beginning his life was normal, like any other small boy. He ran and jumped and had some fun, not knowing they watched with evil joy. From his youth he thought he was in control. Things came so easy and fast. Soon he moved beyond friend and peer. Emotions and thoughts kept under tight grasp. As he grew into a man, it seemed he had it pretty good. Health and love, a nice family. Things turned out just as he knew they would. That's when they began to sneak into his thoughts, taking note of his torment and fears. Knowing the dreams and desires inside, they laid in wait, in dark shadows they hide. From those shadows they reached out to touch him, slowly draining his soul and strength. Unnoticed by his conscious mind, they did not worry to take their time. Sometimes they would breach the wall, causing his eyes to see the consequence of the battle inside. Into the physical realm did they slide. The things that happened would cause him to tighten the grip on his soul. Run, run as fast as you can, but the battle was still too close. As he filled him with shadows and darkness, the sludge filling in every space. Years passed by as he went beyond size, till he remembered not the way it had been. They carefully planned and waited, the attack subtle and right on the mark. They wanted to take control of his life by filling him up with inner strife. He found himself locked in a corner, bound by deceit and lies from them, filled with sadness, loneliness, and dark melodies that no one else can see. Weary he rests while the war rages on, hiding from enemy shots. In a foxhole he camped while they searched him out. He watched them laugh as they cast his lot. Decades passed as they lay in wait, locked away from his open view. Emotions and feelings in a stranglehold trapped, seething inside with them like boiling wax. The sludge bubbled and popped, spewing despair. The waves hit with relentless force. Confusion ran deep as he fought for a glimpse of truth and reality. Over the years, fed by their lies, incredible sadness advanced, diligently stealing his hope and his joy, replaced with solemn misery. Finding out they had stolen his years, at last no more did he have any tears. Them. Tiptoeing in, they plan their attack. They know of every fear. As they whisper and wait for his eyes to close, he feels their presence so very near. They reach out with their lying tongues, abhorring the truth and the light. Master deceptors, they pride themselves to spin a twisted tale. Hidden corners they illuminate with various shades of gray, bringing sorrow and pain and grief and such into the light of the nighttime day. They make his dreams seem real to him, like an alternate life that he lives, people and places and memories unique to the nighttime world that does exist. They paint pictures of hurtful sorrows, making him believe it's real. The fear and pain and tears pale out to the utter loss of hope. Slowly they reach his conscious mind, appealing to wants and desires. Rearranging the normal priorities, little by little, he hits his knees. He sees and thinks things that make him believe that he knows not anymore where he comes from or where he will go. Life has become a raging cyclone. He feels the battle begin anew, the footholds they had dug in deep, the attacks they sent cruel, with glee working the tools, mind and body blitzed. Sleepy. As darkness falls, he sadly reflects on the sordid state that exists, his mind collapsing into a frenzy. Soon there will be no more escape. Unwillingly he gives in at last to the drifting away of restraint. Though he knows that it's not right, he longs to give in to the dark delight. From dusty corners unimaginable and the darkest place of his heart comes the fulfillment of what he fears the most while trapped in the sleepy part. They boldly emerge, slipping into the realm where, joining in to agony sweet, the partners of his nightly world torment him till he lies prostrate. Restlessly he tries to regain any kind of control, but locked up in the cycle of life is the unavoidable fact of sleep and the living world of dreams. From the depths of his soul he tires of the struggle to separate the subtle difference between sleeping and finding himself awake. It seems that the nightmares got loose and crashed right through the wall, tumbling into his waking thoughts, blurring the line of night and day. His consciousness dulled by exhaustion, whirling him into despair, reality lost to a circle of time. Darkness falls. Torment. Oh, the pain that no one knows. With each passing moment through his veins it flows, invading his being, each fiber and cell, making his life a living hell. His thoughts a jumble, dreams bad at best. There's no relief, even in rest. He tries to ignore it, it won't go away. The torment he feels is there to stay. Where can he turn? Where can he hide? No person understands, though he does not lie. He puts on a mask, with himself makes a deal, but ultimately it's more torment he feels. The wave hits hard, he quivers and shakes, praying for reprieve. Nobody cares, even if they could tell how he longs for the toll of the bell. Hope. As the pain inside builds to frenzy, he begins to lose his hold. Unable to distinguish between realities, the anguish is more than he can behold. The light of hope grew dimmer. Fading away, it became just a glimpse. He tried many times to reach out for it, but he would always miss. The people around him were clueless. They really just didn't know. For to share with them the feelings inside is somewhere he did not want to go. But the distress caused by the emotions, as they torment him night and day, and the physical reaction from sleepless nights made him wish they would stay away. So he made up his own little plan to beat them at their own sport. As he left the physical life he had, he thought it his last resort. Wandering. For the longest time, he wandered with them, learning the tricks of the trade, how to reach out gently through shadows, causing confusion and pain, to materialize into the dream world with horror, agony, and pain, wearing thin the fragile wall between consciousness and dreams. Stepping out on his own, he searched, looking for a friendly place, somewhere that has familiar scenes, like ones he once embraced. The torment had caused him to change to a cunning, wicked thing, gleefully planning to breach the wall. Memories of anguish did ring. Carefully from the shadows, hidden away from view, he noted in him the torment and strife, laying in wait till the time was right. Then he painted the picture of a nighttime day that worked so well with him. Dreams he would twist, pain he would bring, all with intent of a bitter end. The boy. In the beginning, his life was normal, like any other small boy. He ran and jumped and had some fun, not knowing they watched him with evil joy. Spiritual warfare is real and hidden by only a veil